now that we've got the bullshit out of the way, we're going to focus on some of the tournaments that we've had over the past week, because obviously, despite the very weird direction that Rocket League is going in right now, despite the fact that we might not know much about that direction, we still have the RLCS to cover, and we also have the Grand Prix, which kicked off this past golden week. We had all 4 of the qualifiers come over from Wednesday all the way up to Sunday yesterday, which we managed to talk about bacon, and we have a little graphic that was posted by Rocket Baguette earlier during the day.
We'll say their graphics are awesome here.
Oh,
Just,
yeah,
this
like
is
credit
so
to
clean.
Rocket Baguette.
Rocket Baguette pushing the envelope along with like Rival with just production quality. And again, I love the Renegade Cup at the moment because it's given the community basically the opportunity to step up, and they are stepping up, aren't they? It's beautiful to see this.
Yeah, you can see sort of the teams that sort of made their way forward. I'm just going to kind of list off the teams that we had that we had go through from each qualifier. From the first qualifier, which is where most of the big names made it through: Method, Epsilon, Secret, XL, 3 cars, which is actually quite surprising because it's Calix, Ocelon, and Gary Gorlap. Which is still a pretty good team. I wasn't expecting them to be on the first wave of teams. We've also got Pim Pam. I'm not even going to say the second part of that name. Truki. Whatever. Choo Choo Mafaka, which is a great name, by the way.
Great. We just had to go with Choo Choo on stream. I remember that. It was just like, okay, these are just the Choo Choos now. But keep them.
Yeah, and then we've already got Red Reserve as well. Which we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the RS in a little bit later on. From the second qualifier, we've got Copenhagen Flames with my boys WLF, Linda with his 2 new boys as well. AS Monaco Esports, Washed Up Boys, Nachital Babies, 5 Frags, Team Echo Zulu. From qualifier 3, it's the first pick, Sonius to V, Bolo, Discombobulated, Ambro. Yes. Oh my god! I really wish I didn't have
something
dyslexia,
Spanish.
Mate. This is stupid. Something Spanish, because they are a Spanish team anyway. Nordavind, Exalted Yeeters, and then from qualifier 4, Savage, 21, Schmootly, Brash, Esmatics, TKA, Rescue Whales, and Unspecified. I actually want to zone in on qualifier 4 real quick, because there was a little bit of controversy in regards to that particular qualifier. I'm gonna leave you sort of like to explain things on that one. I think.
So the biggest thing from the 4th qualifier is that I can't remember the team name. Damn it! It was Frag. Sorry for this. Frag, Kim number 7, and Siki. Now that was the team that got through to the final. No names. That's it. That got all the way through to the grand finals, and then we were told we're disqualified essentially, because Frag is the sub for Mouse Sports. Now we had gone on knowing that RLCS players weren't allowed. But subs were always a very convoluted area. It was very murky. We had asked this before, and I think it was, we've got to go and bring this up with higher ups. So we had gone all the way through to qualify for it. It'd never been a problem. And then, of course, Frag signs up. We'd gone through the tournament expecting, this hasn't been picked up. It must be fine. Get all the way through to after the semifinals when they play on stream, and we're told, nope, they're not allowed, which, again, another communication issue. And all I would have said is this should have been in the rules from the very start, just to say subs included in those teams aren't allowed, because we know in Rocket League at the moment subs aren't used at all. Everyone makes a joke of it. You get onto a team, one of the RLCS teams, as a sub purely because you're getting that title as a favor, like your mates and that sort of thing. Here it is hurt Frag, and that is my biggest sort of like thing that hurts me. Frag is an awesome player, and I think
for my money, I think he well and truly deserves to be an RLRS starter. Like he is an OP talent, and again, it really does suck that kind of rule applies. I guess we can only sort of like at the end of the day, I can't complain too much because this is supposed to be a tournament that's aimed at the lower levels, so below RLCS, so no one from RLCS can compete. So I understand why the rule is there. I respect that the rule is there. I also want to give a quick shout out to Rocket Baguette as well, because as soon as the ruling was verified by Psyonix, Boyan came out and immediately said, "Oh yeah, I completely fucked up." In the staff chat, it was like, "I completely fucked up. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry for having to put you guys into a situation where you have to go on to the public. You have to go on air and say that they are disqualified and they shouldn't have been playing in the qualifier in the first place." So I just want to give a massive shout out to him as well. I mean, I do look at the chat history, and I think it does seem like, for out of context, I was being a bit of a harsh ass.
At the same time,
I just want to say real quick, Boyd, if you are listening, I love you, and I really I don't want to because I completely did not talk to him after that situation, so I have a feeling you might think I hate him, but truly I don't. I'm really happy that you took responsibility rather than giving it to us and just telling us to fuck off, because there have been tournament organisers that have done that to me in the past, and taking the full brunt of it is always a sucky thing. So absolute class act professionalism from Rocket Baguette as always. I don't expect anything less from that, of course, because they're Rocket Baguette, you know.
And another thing I want to say, a big shout out to Sammy, who actually had to deal with that. You know, it's not us just saying on stream, but her going to the players after they just finished that and going, "Oh, you guys are disqualified." You don't realize moderators are near enough doing this for free. And
they are the unsung heroes of this scene, right? Absolutely, again, shout out to any moderator in chat or in an admin situation, like just OP people, OP motherfuckers.
Yeah, helping everything just flow wonderfully, and just having to deal with that. She got the grunt of it and just had to deal with it. So big shout outs to Sammy. Should we get back on track with the happy stuff, though, Jay?
Yeah, let's get back on track with the happy stuff, because obviously, as well as these teams coming through, we also got our groups released. Rocket Baguette had that one announced later today from Pool. Well, actually, you know what? I'm just going to let Ben bring up the graphic, and we're kind of talk us through this one. I actually want to get your predictions, Bacon, as who do you think is going to be moving forward in each of these pools? Because there's only 2 teams from each pool that will progress onto stage 2.
So let's just say go by them. You're near enough expected to try and take the top 2, because this is actually the seeding as well as we go through. So Pool A, I'm expecting Savage and actually Brash Esports. If you saw them yesterday, this was a team that turned up and actually took Savage through to game 5. They looked really solid. And I'm actually hoping, I even had a little word with a couple of people, to try and get them with a coach and try and set them up, because this is a team that's come out of nowhere. And if they can perform like that to Savage, these are some ranked warriors that could really pull something off. Team WLF, I didn't actually get to see them. Same with TKA being brought up because, of course, the No Names fiasco. They got brought up and took No Names space. But Team WLF, they've dropped off, and of course, the new players I'm not so secure on. So I think it's going to be those 2. Pool B, XL have turned up. We're going to go on to this in the RS section, but big shout outs to them. They turned up, and with my boys as well, they're great. Pool C, I'm actually expecting this to be Copenhagen Flames, and if they're not careful, Epsilon could get taken by Rescue Wales. Rescue Wales from yesterday suddenly looked amazing. We were saying it was a bit like, oh, Doomsy's left the roster, and I'm a bit awkward about saying that because he's my mate. But Caro coming in, Caro has been
everyone is in the firing line on this show, right? Yeah. Everybody, even Psionics, everybody is in the firing line.
Even mates since I was like 5, you know. Sorry, Ryan. Yeah, Caro might be replacing you, because that was such a shot. That was actually, I'm going to say, one of the funnest games of Rocket League I've casted over in a long time. Rescue Wales, Jesus, they look good. Pool D, then you've got Pim Pam and Team Secret, 2 great teams. Pool E, first picks, I'm absolutely loving them. And then it's going to be between 3 cars and Natchtown Babies. Natchtown Babies coming in really strong, looking really good. Pool F, Nordvind and Honest to Be are quite good. Pool C, it's easily got to be Red Reserve and AS Monaco. And then Pool H, Method and 21. We saw 21 yesterday. They looked nuts good. Zedo, by Matos, and I can't remember the third, and it's going to blooming annoy me. But damn, they were good. They were like the community heroes come through. It was Ghostfire. That's who it was.
I literally just fucking said it was Ghostfire.
I'm actually really happy, because you know from Zedo, he has been pushing for so long, grinding for so long to try and make it onto that RS sort of stage. And this is a team I think he could do it with.
Yeah, I'm quite excited to see what 21 can do. A couple of names to note as well. I just want to bring up to the players. TKA. I want to just weigh those guys up individually, because obviously this is the team that the No Name squad beat in the in the round of 16 match to make it through to the quarterfinals. So I don't think they had any major big results, but I wanted to probe you really quickly on sort of like what they've been able on whether you think that they can do anything or they can break any upset results, because we haven't seen much from them. And really, it's sort of like a very similar situation to TCS when we had to talk about Silent Gaming and the way that they didn't really qualify for the league, but they're still in it anyway, and they've got a lot to prove. For TKA, just to build a bit of storyline for that one, because they've got a lot to prove. Obviously, they haven't actually qualified for the for the main tournament itself. They're going to have to do a lot to do against these squads in Pool A. Do you think they could probably take a high seed at the end of it? But that might be a possibility.
Honestly, Jay, I'm going to say I have no idea. I don't know the players. I don't know Ezio. I don't know Wolf, and I don't know Jean Clemmy. These are, again, ranked warriors, a bit like Brash. So TK, no idea where they're going to come in here. They're always an
fair
exciting
play.
pick.
As well as that, we've also got a number of teams that have also managed to come in from the bubble scene. I guess it's kind of like the market that these guys that would be really interested in this kind of a tournament. But one team in particular I want to focus on is Five Frags, because they're the only team from the CIS region. And I remember earlier today I was just speaking about how I think Asia is a region that needs to be broken into for Rocket League. I think if there's another region that has to second Asia, it would be CIS, because of how much they are, how much there is so much money flowing around that particular scene. If you can crack that market, then there can be a lot of good times had in Rocket League. Let's put it that way.
So
I don't think Five Frags will be the team to do it. I don't think Five Frags will be the team to do it. But there's a little bit of bear with for a second. Let me finish my fucking point. I don't think Five Frags are the team to do it, but it is kind of nice to see the Russian representation here.
Yeah, so the biggest problem with Russia is a lot of the esports money to be made is from gambling and betting, Jay. We know this, and we know how this does not work with Psyonix. I can just say, and Ben, our broadcaster, will back me up here. We did get in talks with CIS company to an org out there they've been doing stuff with ESL out there. We were going to put on a CIS tournament. We'd even got into contracts, like the starting stage of it, alongside Asia as well, getting one NE involved, so we could have a Europe, CIS, and Asian tournament, a big one altogether. The problem was the backer for this tournament was a bookmakers. For guys at home that don't know what that means, that's basically the guys that are doing the bets and running it all, so your Betway, your Bet365, whatever, it's those companies. Now, that wasn't allowed because, unfortunately, Psyonix have everything against betting. I get that. I can understand that in a kid's game. I know, but it's one of those, if you're going to have the type of companies not associated, I can understand it. But when the whole of the CIS region runs off of betting, as we know, especially with CIS and everything like that, it closes out that region. And so that was a big deal, which just came to nothing.
So here's the thing with gambling, right? If it's done right, if it's done correctly in the context of an esports space, then it can be done safely, and it can be done to the point where minors in the scene are completely cut off from any gambling instances. That's why I generally tend to advocate for responsible gambling. That's why you'll never hear me ever say I'm supporting a scrupulous sort of a company. Like, one of the most obvious ones that come into mind are the CSGO skin gambling sites. Again, with my CSGO comparisons, that whole thing was a shit show. But since then, we've seen actually a lot of reputable companies come into the space, and I really would like to see at least one of those companies get involved with Rocket League. With Rocket League, in terms of just offering a book, and a safe book, and a legitimate book that can that can support that kind of thing. There are just a couple to note, just a note off the bat. Betway, Bet365, Rivalry.gg are just three of the bet bookmakers that I particularly know what they can do, and I know what their license is about. Especially Rivalry, by the way, because they have one of the most hard to get licenses in the whole fucking world. So that everything has got to be by the book, or they're getting shut the hell down.
I'm just going to add on to your point there, Jay, that also legitimizes esports a little bit more, because you get betting on all real life sports now. Rocket League, which is arguably the most mainstream one, aside maybe FIFA now, who are just stepping in, Premiership, all that jazz. But Rocket League, if you could get, say, the start of the season, if like Rocket League was, RLCS was on, let's say, ABC in America, whatever, Sky in UK, and whatever their connections are with the rest of Europe, if you could actually have legit betting websites, which are normal, like Betway and Bet365 that do normal betting as well, and just have that as a side thing, you would get in a whole different sort of market of people, which then also look at this more legitimately than just a game. And I've got, like you said, nothing against betting. It's just, it's got to be done right. That's it.
Yeah, and it really does kind of suck the way that whole thing was going, the way the gambling thing was going, because I was talking to Epic Land. I love Epic Land, by the way. Just say that right now. One of the best TOs in the UK
next
by
weekend.
far and away. Yeah, it's coming up. It's not even next weekend. It's this weekend. It's happening on Thursday, for fuck's sake. So you know, we've you know, if you are going to be you know, if you are going to be free, then this weekend we've got an Epic Land Rocket League tournament running. So we'll be sure to promo that a little bit on our social pages. But you know, with Epic Land right now, they've got a contract with a casino, essentially. They've got a casino contract where a casino called Grosvenor, and they're running esports tournaments. They started off with Counter-Strike. They were heavily interested in looking into Rocket League. Obviously, you know, not, you know, they as being like a key sponsor. But they were immediately shot down because they looked at the community guidelines and they were like, well, shit, you know, we can't do it. And they were thinking of investing like £10,000-20,000 a prize pool. You know, that's an independent sponsor sponsoring the same amount of money as the 4 monthly tournaments for the Renegade, for the Renegade Cup. You know, so all those monthly tournaments combined would have been put into a LAN environment with a LAN qualifiers and everything. You know, all off the back of one sponsor. That's how much money we're missing out on by cutting out all of the sponsors.
And this would be just UK as well. Like, I'm not
just
saying
the UK.
We're not saying that they would exclude foreign players coming in. Like French people could have joined in if they wanted, but they would have to fund that themselves naturally.
Yeah, I'll just add, by the way, the only restriction that was onto it was that all competitors need to be 18 plus. That was it, you know. And you got prize money. You got like, and then there's like a few thousand up for the qualifiers alone. And then there'll be £10,000 overall with a £5,000 prize pool at the very, very end of it. So you take all that and you see that's the amount of money that one sponsor's able to put up. That's like, and for the sacrifice of like only 18 plus competitors, that's a pretty decent trade-off in my opinion.
Yeah, I can understand, like I said, because not the majority of the player base, but a very large percentage are under the age of 18. But that don't mean now. You've still got to have that whole wide variety. And like you said earlier, you just make it so 18-year-olds can't play in a casino LAN. That's fine. That's down to the sponsors to essentially, that's on them. You know, it's not on Psyonix at all. And again, those with betting, you just make it like every bet website has it so you have to be 18 to sign up. And it's on them. It shouldn't have any deal with the blame going on Psyonix, which I feel that that's what they're worried about, essentially, which to me seems a bit weird and dumb.
You just have to partner with the right people, I think. You know, and I think, and I really hope that like a show like ours, or like not RLAfterShock. We are RLAfterShock. No, a show like ours or Rush Hour. It'd be quite nice if they could get like some sort of like sponsorship like that to really like break the ice. I think that'd probably be the way that we move this forward with someone like, you know, a Psyonix who we might want to lift that kind of thing up. But we're rambling on a little bit more about the gambling sponsorship. So any final words on the Rocket Baguette Grand Prix, because we are running out of time. So
no, just excited, guys. Make sure that you tune in from 7 p.m. CEST this Wednesday. I'm actually just about to, like, after this podcast, go sort out the casters for that, sort of like pick who's casting it. So
I already know who you're picking, so it's fine.
Yeah, we know. That's the talk. It's cool.
Yeah, all right.